Yes. Okay. Starts to record. Yes. No. Just I will start the class now. Listen. Understand about the concept. Clausius-Clapeyron latent heat of equation. Of course, the first latent heat of equation. We are asking this question for about 6 marks. Usually, we are asking for about 6 marks. This question it will be asked for 6 marks. Okay. So we are asking the question like this. Derive an expression for the Clausius-Clapeyron from Carnot cycle. This is the question that we are going to frame. Last class, little bit already we have understood, little bit. So I will going to consider a PV diagram here. I will going to consider a PV diagram. This is the PV diagram, indicator diagram. This is the pressure, and here we are going to apply the volume. We are plotting the volume of a given mass of gas. Pressure versus volume. Pressure versus volume. Now I will write one isothermal curve. One isothermal curve I will write. I will write one isothermal curve. Okay, like this. This is isothermal curve. Slightly, of course, slightly. It is an isothermal curve. I can code this one as F. This is B. This is A. This is E. It is an isothermal curve. It is said to be an isothermal curve. Okay, it is an isothermal curve. This is an isothermal curve. This isothermal curve is said to be existing at a temperature of T plus dt. Isotherm means isothermal. Okay, the word itself indicating constant temperature. Iso, it is a Latin word. Therm means temperature, iso means same. At the same temperature we have chosen. At the same temperature, this particular the graph it has been drawn. So it is an isothermal curve. Which is that isothermal curve? FBAE. FBAE is an isothermal curve. FBAE is an isothermal curve. At what temperature? T plus dt. Similarly, I will going to draw one more curve here. I will going to draw another curve here. So I will draw another curve like this. This is another isothermal curve. Another isothermal curve. This is. Okay. This is one more isothermal curve. This isothermal curve, I can code this one as this is G, this is C, this is D point here, this is H point. This is an isothermal curve at a temperature is equal to T. This is another isothermal curve at another temperature that is equal to capital T. FBAE. FBAE is one isothermal curve. GCDH, it is another isothermal curve. Both are different isothermals. This is an isothermal curve at a constant temperature of T plus dt. This is an isothermal curve at a constant temperature of T. Okay. Yes. Now, just I will join from A point to D point here. Just I will join like this. B point to C point also I will join. ABCD is a reversible Carnot cycle. ABCD is a reversible Carnot cycle. Okay. I will drop a line from here to here. Approximately here to here, the small gap is there. Okay, we will reject that one, no problem. This is V1, this is V2 here. This is V2 volume. This is V1 volume, this is V2 volume. Here there is V2 volume, here there is V1 volume. V1 volume is present, V2 volume is present here. Now, between here to here, the volume difference is equal to V2 minus V1. Afterwards, we require this one. Okay, to measure the area of this one, we require that. V2 minus V1. Here the pressure is more. You can observe that one. Here the pressure is more. Here the pressure is less. For the first isothermal, pressure is more. For the second isothermal, pressure is less. Difference between here to here, the pressure difference I will going to consider, that is equal to dP. dP is the pressure difference. dP is the pressure difference. Okay. So let me choose that pressure difference between the two isothermals is equal to dP. Right. Followed this. Just I have drawn a line, perpendicular line. It has been drawn here to the x-axis. V1 from B point, another perpendicular line. It has been drawn to the x-axis, volume axis. That is V2. But we have joined A to D and B to C. ABCD is a Carnot cycle. We can apply the Carnot's theorem here. FBAE is one isothermal at constant temperature T plus dT. GCDH is another isothermal at constant temperature capital T. Volume at A is V1, volume at B is equal to V2. The pressure difference between one isothermal to another isothermal is equal to dP. Here it is a more pressure, this is having lesser pressure. And E point and H point, if I am considering, EA, if I am considering here to here, this point to this point, EA and HD, E to A, H to D, if I am considering, these two shows complete liquid state of the substance, complete liquid state here to here. Okay. Now at A point, the substance is go on converting in the form of the gaseous state here. This is completely gaseous state, but this is go on converting in the form of gaseous state, slowly and steadily. All right. From A to B, it is absorbing the heat. From A to B, it is absorbing the heat. From B to C, there is a change in the pressure. From C to D, here it is a vapor, now it is converting back in the form of liquid. Liquid to vapor, again it is vapor only. Vapor to liquid it is converting. Again we are increasing the pressure, a small increase in the pressure reaches to A point. Again I will repeat, this is completely a liquid state. Liquid state is go on converting in the form of the gaseous state. Here onwards is completely a gaseous state. We have joined B to C. We have joined A to D. We have dropped the line from A to the volume axis or x-axis, B to volume axis or x-axis. One is V1, the other one is V2. Here to here, the difference is equal to V2 minus V1. The difference in the pressure between one isothermal to another isothermal is equal to dP. When the liquid is transit from A point to B point here, it is absorbing the heat. That heat, whatever it is absorbing at a temperature T plus dT, where ABCD is a reversible complete cycle of Carnot. We can apply the Carnot's theorem. Here. Let us consider here 1 gram of liquid. I will going to consider 1 gram of liquid. That 1 gram of liquid goes from A to B. I will write here if you want. From A to B. I will consider A to B. The quantity of heat, whatever it is absorbing, I will write Q1. Because it is absorbing the heat, it is converting in the form of liquid to gas here, liquid to vapor. It is go on converting liquid to vapor. The total amount of heat energy, whatever it is absorbing, is given by Q1 is equal to L plus DL. Q1 is equal to L plus DL. This is the amount of heat energy it is absorbing. It is absorbing this amount of heat energy. Okay. Q1 is equal to L plus DL. What is that L plus DL? Is the latent heat. This is the latent heat of the liquid at a temperature T plus dT. This is the latent heat. Latent heat of the liquid at temperature T plus dT. This is the latent heat of the liquid. It starts from A, goes to B. It is converting in the form of liquid to gas at a temperature T plus dt. It is utilizing the heat energy that is given by L plus dL. What is that L plus dL? It is the latent heat of the liquid at temperature T plus dt, because A to B temperature remains constant, that is T plus dt. Now, at the point B, we are reducing the pressure. How much we are reducing the pressure? dP. We had to reduce the pressure dP, therefore we are reaches to the point C. Now from the point C to point D, point C to point D, temperature remains constant. But here temperature is T plus dt. Here to here there is a decrease in temperature dt, decrease in pressure dP, decrease in temperature dt, decrease in pressure dP, dt, dP, both are decreased. Now reaches to the point C. From C point to D point, actually it is said to be like this. Like this. Like this. Okay, like this and like this. Here, the quantity of heat energy absorbing is Q1. This is which point? A to B. This is which point? C to D. Like this it is present here. Okay, A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A. From A to B, whatever the heat energy is absorbing is equal to L plus dL. From C to D, here heat energy is absorbing because the liquid is converting in the form of vapor. But here, vapor it is converting in the form of liquid. Returning back. The vapor it is converting in the form of liquid. The vapor is converting back in the form of liquid here. It is rejected the heat energy. The rejected heat energy is equal to Q2. Q2 is equal to L. What is that L? It is a latent heat of the liquid at a temperature capital T. At the temperature capital T, the latent heat of the liquid is equal to Q2, that is equal to L. This is heat energy absorbed to convert the liquid in the form of vapor. Heat energy is rejected to convert in the form of vapor to liquid. But this is at a temperature T plus dt. This is at a temperature T. Here the temperature is equal to T plus dt. Here the temperature is equal to T1. Okay, follow this. Now therefore I can apply the, what is that? Carnot's theorem. Carnot's theorem easily we can apply. So apply the Carnot's theorem here. I will apply the Carnot's theorem. Carnot's theorem says that Q1 by T1 is equal to Q2 divided by T2. Q1 by T1 is equal to Q2 divided by T2. This is Carnot's theorem. Principle, of course. Carnot's theorem principle. If I am applying the Carnot's theorem principle, Q1 by T1 is equal to Q2 divided by T2. But T1 is a known thing for us. Q1 and Q2 is also a known thing. I can write like this now. Q1 divided by Q2 is equal to T1 divided by T2. I can write. Then I can write minus 1 on both the sides that I can consider here. Q1 by Q2 minus 1 is equal to T1 divided by T2 minus 1. Right. Now here, LCM if I am choosing Q2, this is Q1 minus Q2. Right. That is equal to here T2, this is T1 minus T2. Q1 minus Q2 divided by Q2. Here it is T1 minus T2 divided by T2. Take the LCM here. Just I have chosen the LCM. Therefore, you are going to get like this. Now we are going to substitute for Q1. You know already about Q1. Q1 is equal to how much? L plus DL. Q2 is equal to how much? L. So Q1 is equal to L plus DL minus Q2 is equal to L. Simple derivation. Q2 is L only. That is equal to T1 value is this T plus dt. T2 value is T. So this is T plus dt minus T2 is T divided by T2 value is equal to T. Tt get cancelled, L get cancelled. Derivation is very simple. Easily you can secure 6 marks from this particular derivation. Derivation is very easy. Only thing is you have to learn and you have to repeat at home. Repetition, you are supposed to do it at home. I will show the whole notes. Okay. Yes. Therefore, whatever we got the answer, last answer, that I will write it now. So here we got dl divided by L is equal to dt divided by T. dt divided by T. I can write. Okay. dl divided by L is equal to dt divided by T. Now I suppose to substitute for dl is equal to how much? I suppose to do the substitution for this dl. The remaining things, no problem, we can keep it as it is. I suppose to put the substitution for this. dl is equal to how much? For that purpose, we have to consider the area of that ABCD. Go for this. Okay. Area of ABCD is how much? I want to calculate the area of ABCD. Okay. First concept, area of ABCD is equal to how much? The area of ABCD, according to your lower stand concept, lower classes already have studied about that. It is equal to the amount of work done. The amount of work done, all of us, we are aware of that one. It is Q1 minus Q2. Amount of heat supplied from the source minus amount of heat energy given to the sink. Amount of useful amount of work done is equal to Q1 minus Q2. Where Q1 is equal to here L plus DL. Q2 is equal to minus L. Already we know that. So therefore, that is equal to here DL. This is the area of ABCD. Similarly, I will calculate area of ABCD geometrically. Area of ABCD is equal to how much? See the diagram. Area of ABCD is equal to, it is a rectangle like that I can consider here, rejecting about this particular extra length here. Okay, length into breadth. Which is the length? V2 minus V1 is the length here to here. V2 minus V1 is the length. Breadth is equal to dP. So length multiplied by breadth. How much is the length? V2 minus V1. How much is the breadth? dP. Multiply those two, you are going to get the area of ABCD. This is also area of ABCD and this is also area of ABCD. Therefore, I can equate these two. Therefore, DL is equal to how much? dP into V2 minus V1. DL is equal to dP into V2 minus V1. Therefore, this expression becomes DL value, how much? dP into V2 minus V1 divided by L. Okay, shall I move this paper now? Right? is equal to, this is dt divided by t as it is. dt divided by t. Okay. Now, dp I will keep it here only. dt I will borrow it from here to here. Remaining things just you carry to the other side of the equation. Therefore, dp divided by dt is equal to, just you borrow the remaining things to the other side of the equation. dp divided by dt is equal to, L goes to the numerator, divided by t into V2 minus V1. This is the derivation concept. This is called by the name Clausius-Clapeyron first latent heat of equation by using Carnot cycle. Very simple idea. I will show the whole notes today itself. Okay, just you see here, understand the concept. Whatever I have solved it here now. Just I am showing the working paper that I am showing. Whatever I have written, not the original notes. Whatever I explained as a working sheets that I am showing. Want to copy that anything? You can copy in a rough notebook quickly if you want. See that this is a diagram. I will show all the other concepts, of course. Is it over? Just to see that. Okay. Yes, where I have written the next sheet here. Understanding whole derivation. Then we are thinking about the another 2 marks question now. What is that next 2 marks question? First 2 marks question, explain the effect of pressure on the melting point of the substance. Melting point of the substance, don't forget. Maybe it is different materials, including the ice cube. By using the Clapeyron latent heat of equation, explain the effect of pressure on the melting point. Explain the effect of melting point. Explain the boiling point again. So 2 concepts we have to think about that. Explain the effect of the pressure on melting point. Explain the effect of pressure on boiling point. The substance. Okay, both we are supposed to understand. That I will take up now. 2 marks question. Next 2 concepts each carries 2 marks. The first one is explain the effect of pressure on the melting point of a substance by using the Clapeyron latent heat equation. Okay, this is enough to explain. This space is enough to explain that one. What is that? The effect of pressure on melting point, on melting point of a substance, on melting point of a substance, the effect of pressure on the melting point of a substance. Okay, so the formula is written here only. It's all depending upon dp plus dp by dt. Is it positive or negative? So major idea is, if dp divided by dt is positive, it implies as pressure increases, melting point is also increases. Pressure increases, melting point is also increases. Melting point of the substance is go on increases. Melting point of the substance is go on increases as the pressure of the substance is also go on increases, provided it is a positive quantity. If dp divided by dt is a negative quantity, remember this idea, then I can say these two are inversely proportional to each other. As pressure increases, shooting up means it increases. Okay, this implies melting point is go on decreases. These two are inversely proportional to each other, provided it is negative. These two are directly proportional to each other, provided it is positive. Pressure decreases, melting point decreases. Pressure increases, melting point is also increases. But here, if it is negative, pressure increases, melting point decreases. Pressure decreases, melting point increases. So be careful about this. First concept, number one. Number two. For the first concept, number one, when do you get this is positive here? When do you get this is positive? Provided V2 is greater than V1. V1 is the original volume. V2 after it is getting heated up, whatever the volume. For example, wax I can consider here. I will consider wax. Okay, hoping that you have written. This example I can quote here. Wax. This example is said to be ice cube. This is an example for the ice. This is an example for the wax, depending upon V2 and V1. So what is that? What is that concept? Clear? So now see that. Example number one. Wax. I will consider. In the case of wax here, let me consider some amount of wax here. This is the amount of wax. Okay, it is a solid. This is a solid. Converting in the form of wax. This is liquid. Here the volume is equal to V1. Here the volume is equal to V2. Certainly V2 is greater than V1. V2 is greater than V1. I hope you are writing all these concepts. You have to. V2 is greater than V1. Notes I cannot show all these concepts. Just I can give the information, that's all. V2 is greater than V1. As V2 is greater than V1 here, V2 is greater than V1 here, dP by dt is positive. As dP by dt is positive here, as pressure increases, melting point is also go on increases. Pressure and melting point, these two are directly proportional to each other. As the pressure increases, melting point of the solid is also go on increases. But in the case of ice cube, the other concepts are holds good here. So what is happening in the case of ice cube? Let me consider this is an ice. At 0 degree centigrade, of course, ice cube are forming here. Converting in the form of course, this is initial volume is V1. Now it is converting in the form of water. Volume is V2. Ice cube volume is more, density is less. Therefore, ice cubes are floating on the water. Ice cubes are floating on the water because density is less. Mass divided by volume. Volume is more. Therefore, in this case, V1 is greater than V2. V1 is greater than V2. Ice cube volume is more. Water volume is less. Clear? A very simplest way if I want to say that one. Okay. For example, if I'm considering, okay, one water bottle that you take it, completely filled with water bottle, completely filled with water, not even a small space should be there. Like that, you completely fill that one. Tighten the lid, put it to the freezer. Don't keep it outside. Put it inside the freezer. After 2 days, just you open the freezer and see that the bottle is going to get breaking out. The bottle is going to get broken up because ice is having more amount of ice is require more amount of space. Volume of ice is said to be more than the volume of water. Using this, if I'm applying this one to the formula here V1 is greater than V2. V1 is greater than V2. Therefore, this is negative. If this is negative, dP by dt is negative. dP by dt is negative. As dP by dt is negative here, melting point is inversely proportional to pressure. As the pressure increases, melting point is decreases. Pressure decreases, melting point is increases. So very simple, very simple. So I can increase the melting point of ice. I can increase the melting point of ice by reducing the pressure. I can decrease the melting point of ice by increasing the pressure. Right, understood? But melting point is 0 degrees centigrade. Melting point of ice is 0 degrees centigrade. At what pressure? Normal pressure, that is 0.76 meter of mercury, 1 atmospheric pressure. At this pressure, ice cube is going to get freezed at 0 degrees centigrade. If it is above this or below this one, this is also go on changing. So be careful about this. Yeah. So therefore, I can say melting point of ice decreases. Melting point of ice decreases as you are increasing the pressure. Melting point of ice can be increased by decreasing the pressure. This is the concept you have to write clearly at the time of examination. This is the effect of effect of pressure on melting point. Now, similarly, we have to think about the effect of number 2, the effect of pressure on boiling point. Boiling point of a liquid. The effect of pressure on the boiling point of a liquid. The effect of pressure on the boiling point of a liquid. So we know the formula dP divided by, we have to solve the problem also here. Problems are also present here. dP by dt is equal to L divided by T into V2 minus V1. Right. Now you consider any liquid, of course. This is a liquid. Converting in the form of gas here. This is the volume V1, this is the volume V2. We know that the vapor state is said to be occupying the more volume than that of the liquid. V1 is lesser, V2 is larger. V2 is larger, V1 is lesser. Therefore, I can say here dP divided by dt is positive. Yes, dP by dt is positive here because whenever the liquid state converting in the form of vapor state, the volume is going to get increased. Therefore, dP by dt is positive. As this is positive, the whole thing is positive, this is positive. As this is positive here, now I can say here boiling point of a liquid is directly proportional to pressure. Okay, as you are increasing the pressure, boiling point of water is also go on increasing. As you are decreasing the pressure, boiling point of a liquid is also go on decreasing. These two are directly proportional to each other. Clear? Follow this. Water is boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. Is that right? Bubbles are coming at 100 degrees centigrade. Is it right? But answer is no. This is happening at sea level, don't forget. At sea level. At sea level means the pressure is equal to 0.76 meter of mercury, 1 atmospheric pressure. At this pressure. Maybe Mangalore, not Bangalore, Mangalore. Okay, sea level. You will get this. But in Mysore, if you are saying water is boiled at 100 degrees centigrade, we will not agree about that one. It will boil around about 97.5 degrees centigrade. Because we are not at sea level. We are above the sea level. We are above the sea level. If we are above the sea level, pressure is less. As the pressure is less, boiling point is less. Pressure is less, boiling point is less. Clear? Follow the concept. Understood the idea? Now, where we are using these concepts, is it helpful for us? Yes. Think about the pressure cooker. If you are thinking about the pressure cooker, there is a vessel, the lid it has been closed down here completely without any leakage here. Then we are giving the heat energy here. As you are giving the heat energy here, pressure is building up. As the pressure increases here, then the boiling point of water is also go on increasing. So therefore, inside the pressure cooker, the water is not boiling at 100 degrees centigrade, but it is boiling more than 125, 130, 35 degrees centigrade, it is boiling. If it is boiling, the boiling starts at 135 degrees centigrade, then by that time, whatever the ingredients you have put here now, it starts already boiling. Because water is not boiling, the solid material starts to boil. Therefore, it is going to get boiled out very easily. Therefore, that is the concept of pressure cooker. Pressure cooker, we are keeping water here with some other ingredients. The lid it has been closed without any leakage. We are giving the heat energy. Therefore, the pressure is going to get built up here. As the pressure increases here, boiling point of water is also go on increases. Okay, around about 135 degrees centigrade, boiling point is going to be getting elevated, increased. By that time, the ingredients are going to be get boiled. These are the ideas you are supposed to write. Okay. Yes, I think you have understood the concept. Just I am showing the ideas. Just you see here, understand all these concepts. Thermodynamic potentials. Next class, let us see that. If possible, today I will take up. If possible, today I will take up. Otherwise, no problem. In the next class, that I will going to continue about the thermodynamic potentials and other things. All right. Other derivations, mathematical expressions are there. We are supposed to understand about those ideas. Okay, this is the concern notes, complete notes that I am showing. Still you are having the time. You have to write all this explanation point. Then we have to write the derivation. You should not write only the derivation. No, only mathematical steps you should not write. You have to explain. Diagram first you have to write, explain the diagram. Then you are supposed to write the mathematical steps. Before coming in the next class, you had to study thermodynamics first law, second law. You had to study to read those ideas. Derivation is very simple. Okay. Now I have to start with the thermodynamic potentials. Thermodynamic potentials. Start with that concept. Next class we can derive the equations and something else that we can do it, no problem. First, let us introduce the concept here now. Little bit difficult. Thermodynamic potentials. You know about the entropy. Already you are aware of entropy, is it right? Entropy. Anybody wants to talk? You can. What do you mean by entropy? Any one of you? Even in first PUC have studied about entropy. What do you mean by entropy? Anyone?
So measure of randomness.
Or what is that? What? Product?
Measure of randomness of a system.
Measurement of randomness of a system. Measurement of randomness of a system. Okay, yes, to some extent. Oh, for example,
Measure of degree of this
what is it?
randomness.
What, pardon?
Measure of degree of the randomness.
Same answers. All of you are telling the same answer. Don't see the internet. Don't answer through the internet. So whatever you have learned so far in your first PUC, like that you have to think and you have to answer. Entropy of a system. Now, don't forget, due to corona, the entropy of your social system is going to get upset. Entropy. Okay. What do you mean by this entropy? It is a Latin word, entropy. Right. For example, in a classroom, let me consider a classroom. The classroom is not so good to teach, means there is some disturbance if it is present. Inside the classroom, the students, they are not listening properly. We are going to say the classroom is having more entropy, disorderness. Okay, not only it is applicable for other ideas. Now let us think about for the gases here. Let me consider for the gases. This is a cylinder fitted with a piston. Taken from your first PUC that I'm saying is a piston. Frictionless piston connected to the cylinder. Inside here we have chosen gas. Right? The gas is made up of its molecules, correct? The gas is containing its molecules. Whatever I am writing the dot marks representing the gas molecules. Now, do you think the gas molecules are remain stationary and constantly they are present there only, wherever it is present? No. Kinetic theory of gases. Already you have studied about kinetic theory of gases, even in physics as well as in chemistry. It says that because the temperature is said to be occurring here now, these gas molecules is randomly, they are go on moving. They are moving. If they are moving here, they may be colliding. They may be colliding with respect to each other. Not only that, they may be colliding on the walls of the container. Not only that, they are maybe colliding on the piston also. Maybe colliding on the piston, maybe colliding on the walls of the container, maybe colliding between the two molecules. Clear? As the temperature, as you are giving the heat energy here, more and more heat energy, if you are supplying, as you are supplying more and more heat energy here, now I can say here temperature is go on increasing. As the temperature is go on increasing here, the movement of these particles are also go on increasing. Due to that one, the entropy of the system is also increases. Entropy is represented by S. Change in entropy is represented by, I am not teaching entropy, it is there in your syllabus. Change in entropy is represented by ds. This is change in entropy. Now going back here, this is the amount of heat energy whatever we have supplied. dq is the amount of heat energy we have supplied. The increase in internal energy of the system is equal to du. Now, because of this internal energy of the gases go on increasing here, it is pushing like this. The gas molecules are pushing the piston. Therefore, the piston will be moving in the upper direction. With a larger amount of volume, it's going to get increased. Here to here, there is a change in volume. The piston, it is going to get moving in the upper direction because the gas molecules are doing the work on this piston. Gas is doing the work on the piston. Piston will be moving in the upper direction. Whatever the change in the volume, I can consider that is equal to V here. The pressure in the piston is equal to P. The work done from here to here is equal to dW is the work done. Here to here, dW is the work done. Therefore, the given amount of heat energy, first law, it says that the first law of thermodynamics. I'm teaching first law of thermodynamics. Next class that I will not teach. No. dq is equal to, taken from your first PUC. dq is equal to du plus dw here. This is dw work done. Du plus dw. The quantity of heat energy, whatever we have supplied, it is utilizes for the two steps to increase the internal energy of the gas and also to do the work done. The work done is given by pressure into change in the volume. So therefore, dq is equal to du plus p dv, where p is the pressure, dv is the change in the volume. Du is the change in the internal energy. These gas molecules are moving here now. Okay, if they are moving more and more like this now, okay, if they are moving slowly, internal energy is small. If they are moving larger amount of vibration with which they are moving here, the internal energy is more. Therefore, du is equal to how much? This is the increase in internal energy is equal to here. What is that? P dv. This is q. I suppose to write dq minus p dv. dq minus p dv. But second law, this is first law of thermodynamics. This is first law of thermodynamics. But second law of thermodynamics, it says that thermodynamics second law, it says that the increase in the entropy, change in the entropy is given by dq divided by T. dq divided by T. dq is the heat energy, whatever we have supplied at a constant temperature T, then entropy will be increased. Therefore, dq is equal to, remember all this concept, dq is equal to T into ds. If I'm substituting this one here, therefore, du is equal to T ds minus P dv. This is the equation that I require. What is this du? du is the change in the internal energy. T is the temperature. P is the pressure. dv is the increase in the volume. ds is the increase in the entropy. Change in the entropy is ds. du is the increase in the internal energy. This is internal energy of a system of which contains the gas. Okay, no problem. I will continue in the next class. See you. Okay. Any other thing that you want to discuss, you can.